They demanded the chief's head. He returned proudly, with the chief's wife. The huntresses froze bring the head. The torches burned like infected wounds against the night sky, casting shadows that moved like predators across the canyon walls. Ethan Cole kept his hands raised, palms open, trying to look harmless while his heart hammered against his ribs. The blue-skinned warriors circled him close enough that he could smell the mineral tang of their skin, see the scars mapping their arms like territorial claims. They weren't just watching him. They were evaluating him, measuring him for a grave. The circle parted with military precision, boots scraping stone in perfect rhythm, and she stepped through. Captain Rain. Ethan had seen her file photo, grainy surveillance footage that made her look dangerous in an abstract, data point kind of way. The woman standing in front of him was something else entirely. She was tall enough that her eyes were level with his. Her body looked carved rather than grown, shaped by years of fighting things that fought back just as hard. Bioluminescent patterns pulsed faintly across her shoulders with each heartbeat, tribal marks glowing like reactor coolant under her skin. Her face was all angles and old violence. A scar cut through her left eyebrow and down her cheekbone like a signature. Her eyes burned with cold blue fire, pupils tight and sharp, like targeting lasers locking on. She moved closer until the tip of her spear pressed into the soft hollow beneath Ethan's chin. The metal was warm, recently used. "Be one of us," she hissed, her voice like gravel dragged across steel. Ethan felt the point break skin. A hot trickle slid down his throat. "Bring the rival chief's head." The circle erupted. Voices overlapped, harsh, eager, feral. A chorus of women who'd killed men before and would absolutely do it again. "Bring the head. Blood proves loyalty. Let the soft skin try." Rain didn't move. She watched Ethan the way a predator watched injured prey, curious whether it would run, beg, or surprise her. Ethan swallowed, careful not to press deeper into the spear. "And if I refuse?" he asked. Rain smiled. It was not a kind expression. "Then your bones lined this canyon by morning." One ate choice with teeth. They cut his restraints and shoved a blade into his hands. It wasn't ceremonial. No glowing runes. No ritual polish. Just a brutal, practical weapon. Heavy spine, serrated edge, dried blood still crusted near the hilt. Rain leaned in close enough that only he could hear her. "You survive," she murmured, "and you return with a head you eat at our fires. You wear our marks." Her eyes hardened. "You fail, and your scream feeds our young." She stepped back. The warriors parted again, this time opening a path toward the darkness beyond the canyon, toward enemy territory. Ethan didn't look back as he walked. If he did, he wasn't sure his legs would keep moving. 2. The rival chief. The rival tribe called themselves Ketheri. Rain's people called them corpse thieves. Their lands were dead stone and razor grass, a place where even the wind sounded angry. Ethan moved low, using every scrap of survival training Earth's frontier academies had beaten into him. He wasn't a soldier. He was an engineer, a crash survivor, a man who'd been in the wrong place at the worst possible time. But he knew patterns, systems, weak points, and tribes, like machines, always had one. The Ketheri camp sat nestled in a split ravine, guarded by bone totems and flickering cold fire braziers. Ethan watched from above for hours, memorizing patrol routes, counting warriors. Then he saw her, the chief. She was enormous, even by this planet's standards. Her armor was layered bone and metal scavenged from old battles. Her bioluminescent markings were deeper red, pulsing slow and steady like a heart that had never known fear. She laughed as she drank, surrounded by warriors. Confident. That was the weakness. 3. The kill. Ethan waited until the camp slept. He moved like a ghost, breath slow, knife tight in his grip. The chief woke just in time to realize she wasn't alone. She reached for her weapon. Ethan drove the blade under her jaw. Her eyes widened, not in fear, but in surprise. They struggled silently. She was stronger. He was desperate. Desperation won. When she finally went still, Ethan collapsed against the cavern wall, shaking so hard his teeth rattled. He didn't scream. He didn't cry. He just stared at what he'd done. Then, hands trembling, he did what Rain demanded. He took the head. 4. Returned to the canyon. Dawn painted the canyon red. The torches still burned. The warriors fell silent as Ethan stepped into the circle. Blood soaked to his elbows. The severed head held by braided hair. Rain didn't speak. She walked forward, eyes never leaving his face. Ethan dropped the head at her feet. "For your fire," he said hoarsely. For the first time, Rain's expression changed. Not approval. Respect. She knelt, inspected the kill, then stood and slammed her fist against her chest. The warriors followed. The canyon shook with the sound. Rain stepped close again, but this time she reversed the spear and pressed the haft to his shoulder. "From this breath forward," she said loudly, "you are clan-bound." She cut her palm and pressed it to his chest. Warm blood soaked into his clothes. "You are ours." The warriors roared. 5. The test wasn't over. That night, as Ethan sat by the fire, hands shaking around a bowl of nutrient broth, Rain joined him. "You expected death," she said. "I expected worse," Ethan replied. A flicker of amusement crossed her face. "Good," she said. "Because worse is coming." She nodded toward the stars, where unfamiliar lights moved against the sky. "Slavers," she said. "Human ships." Ethan froze. "They raid our world," Rain continued. "Take our young, our wounded." Her eyes locked onto his. "You will help us stop them." Ethan swallowed. "I don't have a weapon," he said. Rain leaned in, voice low. "You are one." 6. Blood and Steel. The slaver ships came 3 nights later. Ethan worked fast, repurposing mining charges, jury-rigging comm scramblers from alien tech and human debris. Rain watched him with something dangerously close to fascination. When the first ship screamed out of the sky in flames, the canyon erupted in war cries. Ethan fought beside them, not as prey, not as a test. As one of them. Rain saved his life twice. He saved hers once. By dawn, the slavers were gone. Epilogue, one of us. Weeks later, Ethan stood at the canyon's edge, new scars glowing faintly on his skin. Rain stood beside him. "You could leave," she said, "if your people come." Ethan looked at the firelight, the warriors, the world that had nearly killed him, and given him purpose. "I think," he said quietly, "I already chose." Rain nodded. Then, for the first time, she smiled without teeth.